But the big moment of the day today was Group Captain Abhinandan Varthaman. He needs no introduction whatsoever ever since he emblazoned himself into our public consciousness by his heroics on 27th of February 2019 post the Balakot airstrikes. Today, the medal was finally pinned on his chest. He is now Group Captain Abhinandan Varthaman, Vir Chakra. Take a look at these amazing pictures and this report from the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
विंग कमांडर वर्तमान अभिनंदन ने अपनी व्यक्तिगत सुरक्षा की परवाह न करते हुए अपने कर्तव्य के प्रति असाधारण समर्पण तथा शत्रु के सामने अदम्य साहस और शौर्य का प्रदर्शन किया। ग्रुप कैप्टन वर्तमान अभिनंदन।
Applause flooding the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The true tiger stepped up to be honoured by the President today. Abhinandan Varthaman, who flew a MiG-21 Bison into a fearsome dogfight over the LOC the morning after the 2019 Balakot airstrikes, was decorated today with the Vir Chakra, India's third highest wartime gallantry medal. No memories need refreshing when it comes to Abhinandan or Abhi to his mates in the Air Force. He exploded into India's consciousness at midday on February 27, 2019, when news broke that he'd been shot down over Pakistan-occupied Kashmir after scoring his own kill of a marauding Pakistani jet. Over the next 48 hours, Pakistan would embarrass itself before the world as a barbaric nation that simply couldn't be trusted with captives in a conflict. They bloodied him, bruised him, beat him, but not for a moment did Abhinandan flinch. The files on his time in Pakistan remain classified, but we know that he carried himself with dignity, a professional light touch. Owing in no small part to the savage self-goals by Pakistan's merciless ground forces, Indian and world pressure ensured Abhinandan walked back across the border to India in less than 48 hours. Back in his country, Abhinandan earned himself a few weeks of rest before he was back in the saddle of MiG-21s and Su-30s at a frontline airbase in Rajasthan. Not far from the border, as you can imagine, he was an instant hero with his men. But the sensitive nature of the dogfight has meant that Abhinandan has lived largely in the shadows, quietly carrying on his duties, never appearing before the media or giving interviews, and barred from any public engagements of any kind. In September 2019, Abhinandan briefly appeared to fly a MiG-21 sortie along with then Air Force Chief at the Pathankot Air Base. Earlier this year, Abhinandan was promoted to the rank of Group Captain, equivalent to a colonel in the army.
विंग कमांडर वर्तमान अभिनंदन ने अपनी व्यक्तिगत सुरक्षा की परवाह न करते हुए अपने कर्तव्य के प्रति असाधारण समर्पण तथा शत्रु के सामने.
His appearance in the Rashtrapati Bhavan investiture ceremony is but a brief public blip in the career of a soldier who must, per force, remain out of view, from where he inspires an entire generation of new combat pilots who fought all odds to keep the country safe. He is India's Vir Chakra. Bureau Report, India Today.
Less than 48 hours after he was captured, following his act of shooting down a Pakistani jet on the morning of 27th February 2019, a smiling Abhinandan, his head held high, walked back at night across the Atari-Wagah border. People in their millions were wondering, how is it that India's arch-rival country, Pakistan, would send back a conflict captive so quickly? Where had Pakistan messed up that they were forced to do so? Here's the story of how he came back, his head held high.
After hours of delay, Wing Commander Abhinandan finally crossed over to India, where he was received by Indian officials, and then quickly whisked away, evading the eyes of the media that had gathered at the Wagah border. The pilot, who landed by parachute into Pakistani-held territory, set foot on Indian soil after nearly 60 hours of being a POW, prisoner of war. And naturally, he was happy to be back.
He was happy to be back. What did he say? He didn't say anything, he was smiling, and he says, back to be good to my country.
Wing Commander Abhinandan from Vaga was finally taken to New Delhi and there to the Air Force Central Medical Establishment. The first priority was for a medical checkup and to scan for bugs or listening devices that could have been surreptitiously planted by Pakistan on his body. Standard procedure in such situations.
As per standard operating procedure of the Indian Air Force, he will now be taken for a detailed medical checkup. This checkup is mandated particularly because the officer has had to eject from an aeroplane, which would have put his entire body under great stress.
Even though he seemed all right, standing ramrod straight with his head held high, the swelling on Wing Commander Abhinandan's right eye was hard to miss. But that wasn't all. Medical tests revealed that the Wing Commander had sustained injuries to his lower spine and right rib cage, and minor abrasions to his torso. Wing Commander Abhinandan finally was reunited with his parents, who had flown from Chennai to receive their son. Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also visited the Wing Commander in the hospital. During the meeting, Wing Co Abhinandan was seen smiling, and there was his wife and son by his side. It is not known what the Defence Minister and the Air Force officers spoke about, but it presumably had to be about the fighter pilot's recent escapades. The next day, Air Chief Marshal Birender Singh Dhanoa and Minister of State for Defence Subhas Bhamre also met the air warrior.
And India Today was the only channel to actually get access to the area where Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman was actually shot down. And there were many unanswered questions that were answered first here on India Today in the face of unrelenting, unyielding, uninterrupted Pakistani subterfuge and propaganda.
The destination was Horan village, situated 3 kilometers from the line of control. That's on a two-dimensional map. And the Google map quoted roughly 185 kilometers as the distance to travel from Islamabad. But in reality, the landscape included crossing at least 5 mountain ridges, and that took nearly 6 hours before Horan revealed itself between tall coniferous trees. Situated in a valley, Horan is a sleepy village that about 1,000 people call home.
Wing Commander Abhinandan had a dogfight mid-air, and then his plane was shot, and he landed about 300 meters from the place where the plane had actually landed. जब आप ऊपर पाकिस्तानी जहाज़ और इंडिया के जहाज़ की लड़ाई आपस में चल रही थी, तो और जब ये जहाज़ को हिट हुआ उस वक्त भी आपने देखा, आप देख सकते थे कि ऊपर से इसका जहाज़ हिट हो चुका है. क्या डायरेक्शन थी उसकी? लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल इस तरफ है, तो वहाँ से क्या डायरेक्शन इस तरफ थी जहाज़ की, इंडिया के जहाज़ की, या वापस जाते हुए ऐसा हुआ है?
जब मैंने देखा उसे फायर लगाना तो उसको आग लगी हुई थी, उसकी डायरेक्शन लाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल की तरफ थी.
A tree-covered hill, grey in the March sunlight, stands as a natural border between Horan in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Nowshera in India. It is on the park side that the MiG-21 Bison crashed into. On this hill, facing Horan.
I have this piece with me, and as I stand on ground zero where this impact happened, where this plane crashed the Indian airplane. There are wreckages still over here. Army has taken most of the major wreckage with them, but as you can see on ground over here, when the plane landed, the impact would have been a lot bigger, because the tree over here, it fell off. You can see that when the plane had an impact here, the tree fell off. Then this tree got burnt because of the fire. Plane landed, it was an explosion. You can see the wreckage still here. Other than this, we can see these are wires. These are some chips that were part of the plane. It seems to be a very strong part of the plane, because even after catching fire, the plane still cut into pieces. If you see over here, this is also another very big chunk of the wreckage. This seems like another important piece of the Indian plane that Wing Commander Abhinandan was flying. So this basically is the place where the plane, after getting hit by the Pakistani plane, caught fire. It crashed here. Abhinandan landed after ejecting himself about 300 meters from here, where he was captured by the locals and then by the army. So after ejecting from his plane, Wing Commander Abhinandan landed at this very spot. That is where he landed his foot, and when the people came, he had a question answer session with them.
जब वो वहाँ से पैराशूट के ज़रिए नीचे आ रहा था, तो हमने उसको देखा और हम यहाँ पे आ गए, जिस जगह पे उसने लैंड किया है। उसके बाद हम उसके करीब आना चाहते थे, पर उसके पास हथियार थे, कुछ रिवाल्वर हो गया वगैरह वगैरह, कोई एक दो और चीज़ें थी। और हम उसको कह रहे थे कि हम आपको, वो पानी मांग रहे थे हमसे और मोबाइल फ़ोन हमसे मांग रहे थे कि मैंने बात करनी है। हमने कहा तुम अपने हथियार दूर फेंको, हम आपको पानी भी देंगे, फ़ोन भी देंगे। वो कह रहे थे कि मेरी कमर टूट चुकी है। हमने कहा आपको हम हॉस्पिटल भी लेके जाएंगे। और उन्होंने हमसे पूछा कि ये इंडिया है या पाकिस्तान है। हमने कहा ये इंडिया है। पहले पूछा प्रधानमंत्री कौन है, तो फिर उससे तो हम कंफर्म हो गया, हमने कहा मोदी है। उसके बाद जब फिर उसने नारा लगाया तो हमारे लोगों को उसका जवाब नहीं आया, इस वजह से उसे पता चल गया।
This is the water stream that is a short distance away from that mountain, from where Wing Commander Abhinandan landed, and then he ran. People went after him. They were hitting him with stones and he was firing bullets to keep them away. And he managed to come from there till here. This is the water where he was stopped. He ate a few pieces of paper which were very sensitive, and he threw them in this water so that they can flow away.
वो कागज़ वो तो हमको नहीं पता है किस चीज़ के थे, पर जब उसे पता चला कि ये पाकिस्तान है तो उसने 3-4 कागज़ मुंह में डाले और उनको चबाकर फेंक दिया, थूक दिया। जब नाले में गया तो हमारे लोग वहाँ उसके आगे पीछे हो गए और उसको घेर कर पकड़ लिया और थोड़ी बहुत पिटाई भी की। साथ ही में आर्मी आ गई और उन्होंने पकड़ लिया।
As the locals say, he kept firing bullets back and forth to disperse the people who were after him. They were after him with stones. They did not have guns, so they were hitting him with stones. But one person, namely Tayyab, who's not in contact right now, but he was the one who actually brought a rifle and shot right next to his leg. Not on his leg, but right next to his leg. And that's when the army also had come and he had to throw his weapon away. I am standing right now in Hodan village, which is in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, about 3 kilometers away from the line of control. Has been troubled in the past, but now it seems a little bit cooled down as the tensions continue to a little filter down on the line of control. Behind me, that side, that village, is where on the mountain top of it is where the plane that got shot mid-air by the Pakistani jet fell, and about 200 meters from there was where Wing Commander Abhinandan also landed, got captured, got assaulted, hit by the locals here.
Till 27th of February 2019, this was a village that no one knew about. People here went about their agrarian lives and the world did not notice. But then, a man fell from the sky and changed Horan forever. Today, the village of Horan has become a bullet point fixture on the troubled timeline of Indo-Pak animosity.